let's start with the top teams because we've got some contenders going head to head in week 9, and that's where you get a real look. I feel like this is the sweet spot of the season where you could say, "Hey, is this going to be a playoff preview?"
Oh yeah.
IDK. Well, let's talk about it. Let's start with San Diego Wave FC versus Portland Thorns FC. We've got NWSL action after dark. This one's kicking off on Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you time your naps, you
Yeah.
get your caffeine in, and you stay up for this one because I don't know about you, Lisa, but this is going to be a match to watch for me.
Yeah, so I write these rundowns and I have a lot of fun with them. And I told you just a few moments ago that it was really hard for me to pick my top matches to watch. I put them in this first segment. This is Lisa's games to watch. The first 2 games we're going to talk about, the first 4 teams, and it has to be San Diego Wave versus Portland. This matchup, as you said, Sandra, this could be a playoff matchup. This is who we could see come the end of October, beginning of November, playing it for a chance at the title. San Diego, Portland, NWSL After Dark. San Diego is now back at home. The Wave have been on the road for the last 3 weeks in the regular season, but they're also coming off back-to-back shutout wins. The most recently being a 3-0 crushing to Houston Dash. That happened in Houston. Now they're back at Snapdragon Stadium. I think they have the upper hand in this one. But you have to look at the Portland Thorns because this is a powerhouse team that we've been talking about since week 1. They had a bit of a slump, but they are back on track. They're coming off a bounce back win 4-0 over Chicago Red Stars. Now, Chicago Red Stars isn't a team that you're super surprised that Portland crushed them 4-0. Mm-hmm. However, Portland was able to score in this game in very quick succession. They had back-to-back goals. They got out on the front foot early. And San Diego, they're a team that also is just coming out of a slump. So the fact that they're hitting each other at this point in the season, after both sides going on a little bit of a streak, a slowdown streak there, and now they get to meet in San Diego. Now, we have seen them play this year already. They've played a Challenge Cup game against each other, but this is their first regular season matchup. In the Challenge Cup game, San Diego beat Portland 1-0, and that was a forced own goal. So San Diego didn't even really score in that game. It's not like they had a banger or anything happened. It was a forced own goal, which makes this matchup even better between these two sides because we've got top goal scorers all over the place. We've got Crystal Dunn going on an incredible run with Portland Thorns. We've got Alex Morgan getting back into form. Jaden Shaw with San Diego as well, really coming off a high couple first weeks in the NWSL. This is a huge matchup that I'm excited for.
No, same here. And I think, we're starting to see the return of some players. I mean, we got to see Taylor Cornier get some minutes finally after spending a lengthy amount of time on the injury report for San Diego Wave. What role could she play for this team in a match like this? How is she feeling? Wasn't a ton of minutes, but, you're trending in the positive direction. I think if one of your typical starters is finally getting back into form and onto the pitch. But I hear you on sort of making the points on their previous results. These are two teams who have finally look like they're establishing themselves right as these top contenders. They haven't really fallen out of that upper half of the table over the previous 8 weeks of the season. But these games, these wins that they're coming off of, whether it's Portland against Chicago, and I would even argue San Diego Waves win over Houston. Another team that you're looking at a team in Houston that is trying to figure things out or just haven't, that the tactics aren't matching the personnel and the ideas. They're not executing things well. So it's almost like you've got two teams coming off 2 wins against teams who are, at the bottom of the table at this point and not really doing a good job of establishing themselves as any type of kind of tough competition on the pitch. So I'm very curious about 2 top contenders going head to head after kind of having the type of wins that they've had.
So I think that's a confidence booster the way for these teams, for Portland to go out against Chicago and dunk on them 4-0, get the shutout, and same with San Diego. I think both those sides needed them after the bit of a slump that they went on.
I think it's motivating. I think it's motivating for sure. But I think whoever comes out of this game might have some different things to think about. So we got to
Right.
make picks. Do you have a winner in this one? Do you have a loser? Are you kicking things off with a draw? What are you feeling like?
So a lot of people in our chat right now joining us live on YouTube, they're going with a draw. A
Okay.
number of people are like, draw this, draw that,
Wow.
draw
All
that.
right.
This sounds very like simplistic. There's going to be goals in this one, and
All right.
whoever scores the most goals is going to win. Duh, Lisa. However, I think it's going to come down to mistakes and capitalization on those mistakes. And for me, I think Portland Thorns are just stacked a little bit stronger from tip to toe, front to back. I think the Thorns are going to come out with a win. The way that Sam Coffey in the midfield, Crystal Dunn in the midfield have been able to just dominate the back line, for Portland has been really well. And I'm expecting Sophia Smith to go off.
I'm with you on that. I feel like San Diego Wave have finally gotten out of their slump a little bit, but they had to go on the road in order to do that. And Snapdragon has become an incredible place to play in, and it's been a boost for San Diego to have that type of crowd and environment when they're there. But I'm not entirely convinced that they've absolutely capitalized on all of the scenes quite just yet in these first 8 weeks of the season. So it sounds like you're going Thorns.
Yes, I'm gonna go Portland Thorns.
I hate to do this so early in the show, but I gotta agree with you, Lisa, because I'm going Thorns as well, and I'm with you 100% that it's gonna come down to that middle third. Mm-hmm. If head coach Mike Norris has finally seen the light and gives another consecutive start in that middle third with Crystal Dunn, Sam Coffey, and Olivia Moultrie,
I know
it's a wrap.
Lethal. That is a lethal trio. I agree completely. It's dangerous when we're on the same foot to start off the show, but I think it'll be a really good game. San Diego is going to give Portland a run for their money. I think there'll be goals scored. It'll be a bit of a goalkeeper battle, right, between Bella Bigsby and Kaylin Sheridan, but I agree. I just think that the midfield for Portland's a bit stronger.
Watch. Everyone in the chat's going to be correct, and they're going to have the draw pinned down. I love that. All right, so we're both going Portland for this first one. Let's talk a little bit about another match that's going to feature a couple of contenders, perhaps another bit of a playoff preview. Who knows? We'll see what the future holds for us. But we've got Washington Spirit versus Gotham FC. This one's actually kicking off on Sunday. So it's a nice little bookend for things here in terms of the top contenders. Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. When we're looking at these two teams, Washington just had their undefeated streak snapped by Orlando Pride. And we've got Gotham as the new number 1 heading into week 9. And aggressively. So I'm looking for a response from the Spirit in this game, and I'm looking for continuity from Gotham in this game. I think you have to look at Gotham in this one and say, hey, Lynn Williams on an incredible streak right now. Abby Smith has absolutely owned the posts in goal. So they've got someone handling things in front. They've got an anchor in the back, and all in between, you've got some wonderful breakout play in the return of Allie Long. I think I've referenced this season as a comeback season where you can look at all 12 clubs in the league and probably pluck out a couple of comeback storylines, whether it's players who are going to, make these returns from lengthy ACL injuries, or players who are, in the case of Allie Long, coming back from maternity leave with a team. And I love what we've seen out of Gotham's midfield. This tandem duo of Christy Mewis and Allie Long, I think, has paid dividends for this team moving forward. So while they've got someone handling things in front with the hot goal scoring, and they've got someone anchoring the back in Abby Smith, and then you've got some players who can handle things in the middle for you, I think it's a dangerous time for Gotham. And I mean that in the highest of compliments, where they can really maybe start to separate themselves a bit. And if they do it against other top contender type of teams, they can no longer be ignored.
So are you going to go with Gotham in this?
I'm going with Gotham in this.
Oh, I like it. I see that. This game is on the road for Gotham. They're coming off of a road win over OL Reign 4-1, a dominant win. But we've seen Washington and Gotham play against each other in the Challenge Cup. Opening week of Challenge Cup, a 1-0 win for Gotham over Washington. And the fact that now Washington, is coming off a first loss of the season, I think they're going to struggle a little bit. I'm almost with you on this one. I think if it's not a draw, that's my first pick.
Yeah, that's
a draw.
I respect it. Let me tell you, I respect it. That's the energy in this one as well. Not going to lie.
I
There's
think
the potential for it to be narrow and close.
Yeah. So my first pick is a draw. I'm going to go with the draw on the books, but if not, Gotham. I'm with you on that one. I just think that Abby Smith in goal has just done a tremendous, tremendous job. It was shaky at the start there. She needed games under her belt, but she is such a tremendous goalkeeper. And she's finally given the chance under Juan Carlos Amaros to solidify her spot, get confidence, own this team, be a leader on this Gotham side, and it's paying dividends for them. I think she's doing really, really well. Now, the forward matchup between these sides is like U.S. women's national team stacked on both sides, right? We got Ashley Hatch, Ashley Sanchez, Trinity Rodman, Lynn Williams, Christy Mewis. This battle between these two sides is going to be so, so fun to watch. That's why it's in this first segment, my top 2 games to watch of the weekend. But I think that with how it's all breaking down, I've been really impressed with Washington's defense over the last couple of weeks. And Sam Staub, what she's been able to do now, they gave up a penalty kick to Orlando Pride, and that's how they ended up losing their first game of the regular season last week, Washington. But I don't think they're going to make that same mistake again. I think Mars Parsons has this team on a bit of a lock on knowing who they are, how they want to play, what they can do on the pitch to utilize themselves. And the players in the front line have so much freedom and creativity. So I'm excited for that. But I'm excited to watch this game and watch this unfold between both of these sides. I'm going to go with the draw between Gotham and Washington.
I love it. You build me up just to say I'm going to get the draw. But listen, I like it. It's a struggle when you start taking a look at the top tier teams who go head to head against each other. So I think, listen, I would have respected if you would have came out with 2 draws in either of these games. But I like that you held it for this one because I'm in 100% agreement with what you said. These are 2 teams that are not unfamiliar with each other at this point. There's a nice kind of organic rivalry between these 2, honestly, that has developed over the years. But I'm eager to see what shakes out between the 2 of them. Are we gonna have another new number 1? Is Gotham gonna stay there? I don't know. People are gonna have to stay tuned and see.